Hey everybody, it's Bret Gregory. I'm so excited to have you here. If you're just joining us, please go to the questions box on the left-hand side and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from. So I'm Bret Gregory, and this is the six-figure Facebook marketing class, and I've got a really special guest for you today. I'm going to be introducing you to my friend Ted McGrath, who is absolutely awesome. This is going to be such a special treat. He's going to be teaching you the message to millions. So really it's about how to monetize your message and do it in a step-by-step fashion. And Ted has been a good friend of mine for a couple years now. I've had the opportunity to get to know him, to watch him grow in his business, have the honor of speaking on his stage a few times, and really learning about how he's really helping you monetize your message. And he's done it in a really unique way, something different than I think I'm seeing out there in the marketplace. And he's really made a huge impact helping others grow their business. So if you're just joining us right now, please go to the questions box and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from. And then I want to introduce my good friend, Ted McGrath. So Ted, welcome to our program.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here. Lots of exciting things going on right now. So it's great to meet everybody.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about just your background, who you are, what you do, what kind of people you help.
Yeah, so we've got this awesome launch going on right now, and we've created these really amazing videos. And the one thing that we're getting from people is that the understanding that I've always said is, which I believe, that everybody has a life story to tell. And for those of you watching, I really truly believe you have a life story to tell. You have life lessons to teach, and you also have a message to share with humanity. And what I teach people how to do is to take that life story and message and build up a celebrity brand online to where you can earn multiple streams of income doing what you love. And so it's really special because we get people from all different walks of life. The coach that is tired of trading time for dollars on the phone and wants to change somebody's life. We get speakers who are traveling around the world and they're burnt out and they're like, I need a more intelligent business. And lots of service-based business owners, huge influx of chiropractors, wellness practitioners, financial advisors, any service business that's trading time for dollars. We get a tremendous amount of them who are like, hey, I'm a prisoner of my system in my business right now. I'm chained to an office all day. And they want just a more intelligent, lifestyle-friendly business to where they can run their business from anywhere in the world. And that's the great fortune of what we've been able to do. So it's really awesome. And I'm just super passionate about it. And for me, I came out of the insurance business, so I understand service-based businesses. And just a little bit about me briefly. Most of my life I've just been in this place, especially when I was a kid, when my parents got divorced, of just not feeling worthy, feeling unlovable. And deep down inside for years I just couldn't figure it out. And when I was 21 years old and I got in the insurance business, I had this boss who looked at me and said, I believe you can go do six figures your first year in this business. And I was dumb enough and green enough and young enough, and I put my head down and I went after this six-figure goal. But the wild thing is, for me, it was never about the money. I just wanted his approval. And at 21 years old, I found myself at 4 o'clock in the morning on the kitchen floor, overdosed from a bag of cocaine and 2 pills of ecstasy and about 15 drinks of alcohol, staring up into my brother's eyes and gasping for my last breath. And miraculously, I recovered the next morning and was revived. And I went on and I go, oh, well, the money thing didn't work, but if I make partner, my life will change. And so 5 years later, I worked 19, 20-hour days, and I became one of the top partners for the #1 life insurance company in the country, New York Life. And upon getting that, I go, well, okay, status doesn't feel like any different. And I resigned that day upon getting the news. And I just decided, well, now that status and power didn't work, I'll go become this entrepreneur. So I'd rush out to California and I buy, this $1 million condo, and I've got the $100,000 car at the time. And I'm like, well, entrepreneurship will be it. That'll be the freedom that I'm looking for. And, a couple of years later, I'm on my couch in my living room and I'm watching my car get towed out of the driveway. I just get my third foreclosure notice in the mail, and got my face in my hands going, what the heck am I going to do with my life? And that was the day where I really made the decision. I want to make a difference, and I want to help people, and I want to do something that really matters. And I started to discover that I had some life experience from the insurance business. I had a life story. I had some life lessons that I've learned, and that I could actually teach people things that I learned around sales and business and things of that nature. And I went out and I got my first client ever that day for about $3,000. Actually, it was a couple of days later, to pay me for my knowledge and my life experience to coach them. And I was just, all of a sudden, it was like the sweetest, because I'd made a lot of money before, but $3,000, wasn't a lot from a perspective of money. But for me at the time, it was a lot because I was broke. And at the same time, I was getting paid for my gift. And, since then, it just snowballed. And then, later on, I got paid $25,000 per personal client. And now, my consulting clients invest $200,000 to work with me. And I've built up a multi-million-dollar company. And the best part is that, like, the foundation of what I do, it's all built around story. It's all built around the fact that my story has been the most transformational journey of my life, where so much so that, today I have a theater show on my life story where I play 15 different characters from my life. Wow. And yeah, it's amazing. And in my business today, life story and message is the message that I'm sending to everybody here today, that you have a life story to tell, and you can turn that story into a message, and you can actually get paid. And that's the thing that people don't get. Like, the theater show is a passion, and that's a whole other subject, but getting paid to get your message out is an amazing thing. So I'm very fortunate. I'm grateful to be here, and it's great to meet everybody.
So thank you for that introduction. That's awesome. And I know you're very passionate about what it is that you do. And I think you have such a unique style and such a unique way to teach how you do what you do. So let's just want to give a shout out to the people who are joining us. I want to say hi to Jay from Virginia, and Lon from Sunnyvale, Scott's from Florida, Cindy, Lynn and Buzz. Hey, how you doing, Lynn and Buzz? Just saw you last week. And Rashawn and Frederick, Mo, Joseph, Jay, and Lon and Mo. So great to have all of you here. And you mentioned something early on, and I wrote it in the chat bar, and I would love to hear from you. What is your message that you want or need to get out in the world? So share with us right now. Go into the chat bar and tell us, what is your message that you want or need to get out into the world? So Jay says she teaches people how to use HEF for Tier Advantage, and Frederick says providing nutritional products to deal with heart, diabetes, and weight problems, so helping people with their health. That's huge. Lon says respect, love for your family, understand how to make and save money so that you can retire without worrying about it. That's awesome, Lan. Mo says I'm an encourager who listens, hears, and sees from the heart. And hi to Colleen and Jerry. So if you haven't done so yet, go and tell us in the box right there. Tell us, what is your message that you want or need to get out in the world, that inspiration that you have inside you that you want or need to get out into the world. And so then, Ted, tell us a little bit about so some of these people like Paul and Cynthia and Colleen and Jerry and some of these wonderful people who just shared with us, what would you tell them if they're just starting out, if they want to get their message out there into the world and, like you just said, ultimately get paid for it?
Yeah, so there's really 2 steps, and we can cover these here today. There's more than that. There's 7 steps, but we're going to talk about 2. So one of the steps is story, is I call the story formula. And most people go, well, how am I going to get paid for my life story? If I just go tell my life story, like, am I going to get up and share my life story at a networking event and people are just going to pay me? And so story is a piece of the formula. It's not the entire formula, but it's the foundation, because when you look at a life story like mine that I just shared, every story has life lessons within it. And if you look today, there's a whole new economy today that's new to a lot of people, not new to people like Bret and I and probably some of you on the line, but it's this new economy of coaches and speakers and entrepreneurs and service-based business owners that realize that they have life lessons and they have knowledge and wisdom that they can get paid for. And the story that one has, like your life journey, and we'll talk about how to design your story in a second, the story we've all been on, this hero's journey, right? where it has ups and it has downs and it has pit moments, and it has these moments where like you're down and out in the pit and like the dragon's breathing down your throat and like there's fire and you're like, how am I ever going to get myself out of this situation? Those pit moments where we're down and out are where we actually build the muscle and the strength and the wisdom and the knowledge that is useful to other people.
And can you tell us what you mentioned, the hero's journey? Can you tell us what that is?
Sure. So when you look at like the hero's journey, it's got, you know, from my perspective, it's got 4 parts. And one on the hero's journey is the call, like the moment the character gets called into the journey. So like the call is, if you've ever watched the movie Braveheart, right? You've seen it, right, Bret?
Sure thing.
So, you know, the movie Braveheart, you watch it and it starts off the movie and, you know, his dad is killed and hung. And we know that there's something going on. There's this war going on between 2 countries. And, you know, he wants peace. So he goes to settle down and he wants to become this, you know, farmer and raise a family. And what happens is, like, in the beginning of the movie, his wife is killed in front of him that he married in secret. And all of a sudden the peace vanishes and he goes from the state of peace and love to total revenge, and to this mode of like he wants to get revenge against the people who killed his wife. And so really that's the call of the story. That's where the story, the dilemma actually begins for the character. And, you know, any new initiative that you've taken on or I've taken on in my life, like a new project or a new business, there's always a call. Like you go in and you might be excited about it. It's like, oh, something. And then all of a sudden you find yourself with this dilemma. Right.
So it doesn't have to be like in Braveheart. Somebody doesn't have to get killed. It can be anything that happens in your life that changes hero's journey.
You got it, right? Yeah. So it could be anything. It could be like this call, like I went to go start a business and all of a sudden, wow, I found this is harder than I thought. So the character has a game to play at this point. There's like a dilemma, something to like figure out. So like in Braveheart, it just happens his wife is killed and now he's down, and now all of a sudden he's called into the story, and the story kind of begins, right? Because if there's nothing to like, you know, if there's no call, there's no story, right? And it's not fun to watch. And in living our lives, if we don't have a call into our lives, like something new we're doing, life gets boring, right? So all of a sudden, then you have this, you know, this call with the character Braveheart, and then there's this pit, right? There's this pit moment. And what you see in that movie, for me, just to relate it to my life, my call was when my parents got divorced at 6. And when my parents get divorced at 6, as a 6-year-old child, I make this decision that I'm not worthy and I'm not lovable. So up until 6 is like going around, I'm playing, you know, life is good. And then it's like I make this decision that, wow, like my parents don't love me, I'm not good enough, and I have to earn their love, right? So that's a call for the character into the journey. And then what happens, every great story, when you go to the movies, it has a pit. And it's really where the character goes down into the bottom of the pit. Like the pit is the down, it's the darkness. It's like the dark part of our lives where most people hide this. And my pit in my story that I just shared was me overdosing on the kitchen floor from drugs and alcohol. But the underlying thing came from the dilemma of not feeling good enough. And so I'm in my pit moment. And that's a story where when I share that, people are like, whoa, right? So it's this dark moment that most people don't talk about. But if you really look at your pit of your life and the pit of your story, most people discover that some of their greatest life lessons come out of that pit, because you have to build a new way of being and you have to learn something to get yourself out of the pit. And so that getting out of the pit, we develop skill sets, we develop new life experience, we develop new knowledge, and then we can start to teach that to other people. So when I say, you know, how does somebody get paid for their life story? If they look deeper into their pit of what they've learned and discovered being in there, they would start to pull out life lessons that they go, wow, like that tough moment, I actually learned something from it. That tough moment helped me develop some skill set and knowledge and wisdom. And wow, as I'm getting out of the pit, and most people go, well, I'm still in the pit. Well, you know, sometimes people think they're in the pit, but they're actually getting out of it and they're learning something. I always go to teach your audience, whether it's health and you had health issues and you got out of the pit, or finances and you got out of the financial pit and you want to teach finances, or whatever, right? And so I always say you have to be 2 steps ahead of your customer, because if you're starting to crawl out of the pit and you're learning stuff, one of the greatest things we do as human beings is we pass that knowledge and wisdom on to other people. And if you're going to pass it on to other people, why not make a career out of it and get paid?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So those are just the first 2 steps of the story. And then of course, like out of the pit, you're not like, you watch a story like the movie Braveheart, all of a sudden, like they start fighting wars or to gain freedom for the country, but you don't just see them fight one battle and all of a sudden it's like, like, the movie's over, right?
Right.
See,
Sure.
every great story has a search.
Yep.
So like you search for the answers, and then you search again, and then you search again, and you search again. And that's what keeps it interesting. And that's upon the search is where the life lessons are picked up that become valuable. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just give a little recap, and quite a few people have just joined us. If you're just joining us, we're talking with my good friend, Ted McGrath, who is a master at teaching you how to turn your message into not only helping lots and lots of other people, but how to also monetize it as well. And we were just talking about the hero's journey. So the hero's journey is, a pattern of how you can tell your story. And if you're just joining us, please go to the questions box and tell us what is your call, or what was your call in your life? The thing that started you on your own hero's journey that has gotten you to where you are today. So this is this step one, essentially, in this process that he was laying out. So tell us, what is your call, the thing that got you on the road to where you're going today, so that you can learn how to create and craft your own hero's journey story. And I'll just mention, so a couple people who had shared, Colleen, helping women of all ages, has an awesome purpose. Joseph said it's not too late to start being your best self. That's one of his purposes. Tamara said everything should be made with love. Lynn and Buzz, reinvent your life with authority. So you guys are all doing great. So tell us what your call is that got you on your own hero's journey. So Ted, then tell us, for those people who are here, what is the next step? So let's say they start the process of formulating their hero's journey. What's the next step to getting their message out and monetizing it?
Yeah, well, I would look at the pit, right? I would look at the pit moment. So the call gets them started on the journey. It's like, somebody might look around as a health practitioner and see that somebody's sick, or before they became a health practitioner, they see somebody sick, like a family member sick, and they're like, they get called to go study health and help. Or they might have looked around and saw that their parents had struggled financially, and they go, I'm going to go and learn financial stuff, and that's their call into the journey.
Yeah.
Right? So they get called into this thing that they want to do or teach or whatever, and somewhere along the way they hit the pit that we were just talking about. So I would look right now at the pit, your deep, dark moment where you felt down and out, and I would start to look at what have you learned from your pit, which is basically going like, what have you learned from your story and your journey? Mm-hmm. And if you write that down like a life lesson that you learned, like for example, one of my clients, Maria, she had every type of ailment you could well, not every, but she had about 14 ailments and like all different kinds of stuff that was wrong with her. She's sick. And she went into the doctor one day, and the doctor goes, you need to sit down for this one. And she goes, just hit me with it. You've told me I've got 14 different problems. Hit me with it. And he goes, I think you need to sit down. And she goes, what is it? And he goes, you can't have kids. And she was like stated. And she goes, well, this is the one thing that I wanted to live for. Mm-hmm. And so she went into a hotel room that night, checked into a hotel to go take her life. Mm-hmm. And as she was about to do it, the stress and thinking of like the shame and her family and what leaving behind these people, it actually sent her into a coma. And she woke up from the coma, and she was like, I've got a second chance. I need to heal myself. Mm-hmm. So her pit, which again, a pit's not always like a death moment, but her pits can be anything, just any type of challenge. Mm-hmm. So her pit, it could be like losing money, a pit moment, and like being broke and all of a sudden deciding I'm going to learn finances. But her pit moment, she goes, I am going to heal myself. And she did. And, 5 years later, and she went on the search to learn health. Like she went on the search to go study Eastern medicine, Western medicine. 5 years later, she had a baby girl.
Wow.
Yeah, and she healed herself. And so today, she now, out of her pit where she had all these ailments, she now has created a brand and a message called the Invincible Wellness System.
Wow.
That helps people prevent themselves from going through what she went through, right? So you see, number one, like, how can your story actually become a brand and a message that you share to other people? For her, it was like, she had no idea she was going to get into health practice or health business, but her pit moment and what she learned from that was like, I need to help other people and teach them this. So that's like step one, just to look at, if you're not in a space now where you're thinking about becoming a coach or a speaker, or, you know, wanting to spread a message out to the world or wanting to get paid for your message. If you're just thinking about it, you can start to look at your life and go, and you can create your topic and create your message, right? That would be step one, and then we can go into breaking it down a little bit more.
So thank all of you for sharing. So a lot of people have shared some very personal things, and this is typically what we see as the way to share your story in a way that connects with real people and really inspires people out there. And, you know, I see people mentioning losing my parents to cancer. For me, it was losing my brother to cancer, or you know, financial stability and not having it, or not having enough of it. And there's a lot of that. And it doesn't, you know, you don't have to have something that's completely devastating, but we all have our own call to action. And it's the call that led us to go on a journey. And this is the hero's journey that Ted's talking about, that allowed us the opportunity to learn this life lesson, that we're going to be able to bring back and share with others. And a lot of you, Sharon, Janet, Jilly, Lynn and Buzz, Cynthia and Tamara and Marianne, you all have some amazing stories that you're sharing here with us about the life lessons that you learned, and from your call and your pit, that you can share with others around the world. So Ted, tell us a little bit then about some of those next steps. So let's say we've identified our call, we figured out what our pit was, we know what our life lesson is. What do we do next?
Yeah, so then you just look at the search, right, to get more, like, you know, because along the search, you know, somebody goes into a pit and they get out of the pit and they go on this search to where they're now hungry for the answers. And here's the thing, I just want to make this link, like, the reason we're looking at story right now to figure out your life lessons is two reasons. One is to find out the life lessons of what you could teach another people and get another person and get paid for to help them, right? And sometimes people go, well, I'll just help and I won't get paid. And I go, well, you look at this, like, you could either help part-time and make a part-time impact in the world, or you could help full-time. And if you make this a career, you help full-time and you make the biggest impact in the world that you can, right? So part of it is looking at, like, this actually is a career and you can help other people and coach other people and teach and train. That's one. If you're already in your business and you're not sharing your story and your pit moments with people, number one, the personal connection's not there. And so I always go, you know, show me a person who has a brand and they start sharing their personal story. One, that brand becomes more powerful, because if I go into something that's personal for me, you can bet that I'm not going to quit, because why would I quit on myself? You can pick a topic out there and go look online and go, just, okay, this is what I'm going to teach, right? And you could just go find something and go, oh, other people are teaching this, I'm going to teach that, and I'm going to coach on that, I'm going to get paid on that. That's all good and fine if you find something that appeals to you and you go, oh, this is really personal to me, and let me tell you why this is personal to me, and let me tell you my story of why this is personal to me. And now all of a sudden, this thing that piques your interest, you have this business. People say business isn't personal. It is. It's very personal, because what we do is on the most personal level possible, because we're changing lives. And so when we share something about our story on our journey that has led us to choose the career that we're choosing, all of a sudden people link that up. And a quick example of this, Alex Moscow, like, he teaches sales. He teaches people how to enroll clients. He's 26 years old. And you go, well, what's unique about that? And then I go, well, did you know that Alex Moscow has had a stutter his whole life? And then people go, well, how the hell is he teaching people sales? That's about communication. So you go, the one thing he like, most people wake up in the morning, they're like, I'm afraid to go sell and I get rejected, right? If I'm in sales, they're like, that's their biggest fear. Like, they can't confront that. I go, imagine trying to confront being rejected in sales and the fact that you can barely get the words out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden I share that and they go, wow, the fact that he teaches enrollment and he's got a stutter, I could learn from this guy. And he's got a multi-six-figure business teaching this, right? So you create that link. And if he avoided it, like he was like, I'm good at getting good at enrollment, I could teach people, and he wasn't telling his story, I'm like, you got to put it out on the table. Clearly they know you have a stutter, number one. If you don't talk about how you came to this place, your brand will have 1/100th of the impact on people, and they'll just tune you out. The moment he started telling his story, like, people were so inspired. They're like, I will go to this guy's seminar. He stands up in front of, he had a 10-person workshop recently, and he stands up in front of people and delivers workshops now, and he's super profitable at his workshops. So the point is, story number one has your life lessons in it. It's the first thing, right? And number two, and that's what you can teach and get paid on. Number two, you should tell your story to people and get good at it, because that's how they connect with your brand.
I love that. And, what I've noticed and what you were just mentioning with Alex Moscow and his example is that I see is the more personal your story gets, the more people will connect with you, the more real it becomes. And I've noticed, and like you mentioned in the beginning, you came from the insurance business, and so did I. I actually started out in the life insurance business and quickly morphed that into a corporate career selling 401k plans. And coming from this corporate background, they were very, very hesitant to share anything personal. It was, we were not allowed to share a personal story. No way would we have ever said anything like, oh yeah, I did drugs. I mean, that was, just forget it. But the reality is that is precisely the real story, is the thing that people connect to. And, when I then got into the, business of teaching entrepreneurs how to market online, it was so ingrained in me to be professional and not share those personal kind of stories that I was completely missing the boat, because I was only telling people about the positive side and I was totally glossing over the negative side. And it wasn't until, I followed some of this advice that you're talking about here, and I started talking about my real story and my call, which was the death of my brother from cancer. And that's where it all started. And immediately, as soon as I started telling that story, my story, the real story, everything changed. And I started attracting customers that I share values with hand over fist. And it's just been, a growth freight train from there, and had the ability to impact so many other people.
And the amazing thing about this, Bret, is what you're saying is, like, we're told, like, just what you're sharing. We're told, like, we're trained, like, from the time we're born. We got to be in this perfect little image, in this perfect little school, and perfect little thing, and watch these perfect commercials of all the perfect people with these perfect brands and this perfect company, and everything's got to look so perfect. And so we're trained to only talk about what's so credible in our lives and how freaking great we are, while underneath the surface, because people can't communicate. Like, if I could have communicated as a 6-year-old kid of, like, hey, I don't feel loved right now, right? Or I feel like this, and I could, like, I wouldn't have held that shit inside, and my only release point wouldn't have been drugs and going out almost, killing myself every night from drinking myself to death, right? Because I wasn't, like, and it wasn't my parents, that it was just like a societal thing. Just goes, you don't talk about these things, right? Because in society, it's like the perfect athlete, the perfect car, the perfect home, the perfect this. You don't like, so people go around and they don't talk about what's real. And so we got this whole distortion, this reality distortion of what life's supposed to be. And then you watch people in business and they get up and they want to go sell something and make an offer, and they go, look how great I am, and I've got this beautiful mansion, and I've got and all they tell us is the breakthrough of the story. We never get the pit. We don't get the pit. We don't get the search. We don't get the trials and tribulations. And so underneath the surface, the world is going, this feels wrong, right? But because so many people, all the marketing and the advertising is going, well, it's got to be perfect, and there's a perfect pill for this, and there's a perfect this for this. You get the whole world, and we look at it, and so people mask these feelings, and underneath it, they go, something's wrong, something's off, but nobody speaks up. And so I feel like story is the way for people to start speaking up and going, yeah, it ain't perfect, But if I communicate on it and I express how I'm feeling and I look at the truth, whatever problem I'm facing, we together can get out of this challenge by helping and teaching and coaching one another. And I think that's like the main message of this, of like on a global humankind message, like we owe this to ourselves and the world, you know?
Yeah, and you know what? If you love it, let's hear from you. If you love what Ted's saying, write the word truth right there. And I'm just gonna TRUTH. I mean, I love that. And I fully believe it's when you can tell the truth, you can tell about your real story. That's when you're really going to start attracting the people and the customers that you share values with, the ones that you were truly meant to serve, the ones that you're going to make a big difference, and the ones who are going to really pay you well for your services. You mentioned that there was 7 steps. So why don't can you talk about what some of those next steps are?
Yeah. So now now we get the story piece down and we go, okay, story's got life lessons in it. So number one, the life lessons from the story, and like knowing that I have something to teach and share with the world. And like, I didn't believe that people would ever pay me for this. And now I've built a multi-million-dollar company out of this whole journey of looking at my life and going, man, most of my life I've like been doing things because I felt unworthy. And now I'm finally in a place where I feel like it's a win-win for everybody because I'm truly serving and making a difference in the world. Yeah. So when I look at this, I go, okay, so I've got something to teach, step one, right? I've got a story to tell, which actually attracts clients, right? So I'll give somebody something really tangible in step two. Use this in a networking event that I'm about to share right now. You can use this to get clients. That's called the 4S system, right? So the first thing is you create your statement. And your statement goes, I help people do this so they can have that. So it's like you break it down. What are you helping people do, number one? Like, I help people do X, right? So like for me, I go, I help people find their life story and their message. Simple, right? Because it's the starting point. So number one, what are you helping people do in your business? Number two, ultimately people do something. So you're helping them do something so they can have or become something, right? So I'm helping you find your life story and message so you can do or become something, right? So this is like, I help people do this so they can have or become that. And all messaging, in my opinion, starts from simplicity, right? Mm-hmm. How do I make it really simple? Like, this is the same technique when I go to create an opt-in page. Like, our launch is going on right now, and we've had over like 7,500 people watch our first video in the last 24 hours. Awesome. And our people, our opt-in rate is at like, close to 60% right now. Wow. And all that we do is when I'm creating something that I want somebody to see online, or I'm creating a message that I want to communicate to somebody one-on-one, I just think through it very simply. And I just go, in this frame, I help people do this so they can have that. I help them find their life story and message so they can get paid to make an impact in the world and have a lifestyle-friendly business.
So let's do a quick exercise right now. Go into the questions box and fill this in. Tell us what your statement is. I help people do, you fill in the blank, so that they can either, and it could be do or have or become, and you fill in the blank. Okay, I help people do blank so that they can do, have, become blank. Go ahead and do that now so that we can see your statement. Okay, cool. What's next?
Right. So now you got your statement. So the next thing is, I call it your system or your blueprint. Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm at a networking event. Somebody goes, hey, Ted, what do you do? And I go, well, I work with coaches, speakers, lots of service-based business owners. And I really help them find their life story and their message so that they can get paid to make an impact and spread that message to millions. Somebody goes, wow, how do you do that? And I go, well, it's interesting. Like, I've actually created this blueprint. It's called the Message to Millions Blueprint. And I just pause. And they go, oh, what's that? And I go, well, it's a 7-step system that I created. And it's actually exactly what I just told you, like helping somebody find their life story and message and spread it to millions and get paid doing it. And they go, oh, that's awesome. So what I just did there was step one was statement. Step two was I shared my blueprint or my system. And I have a system that I've named, and I'm the creator of this system now. And so now all of a sudden you're at the space, and when you name something, it grants it life, right? It grants it like, it gives it an identity, what you do. And by naming it, you're automatically packaging it into this thing that becomes tangible. And it's no longer like the statement where people are going like, because a mind would go like, imagine the last time somebody told you something, and then you're like, well, how's that possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you tell somebody something, they're like, it's a statement, it floats in the air, and they're like, okay, well, how the hell does this relate to me, and what? And then you go, yeah, so I got this Message to Millions blueprint. It's actually the 7-step system I've created that does this, this, this.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's a tangible thing that becomes real for them, that they actually get like a mask on it, a visual of a blueprint,
Mm-hmm.
and they start to grasp. It's almost like they're holding this thing now that becomes real.
Yeah. So let's say, let me just read a couple. So Janet says, so her statement, I help people get clarity and confidence so that they can move forward in life with courage and confidence to create a life they truly love. Awesome. Sharon says, I help people to detox so they can get their health back. Perfect. Very clear, simple, straightforward. Colleen, I help women of all ages with their clothing choices, manners, and poise so they can look and feel like $1 million, because when they're not worried about how we look, we can focus on serving others. Awesome, Colleen. Tamara, I help people eat better so they can be better and smile better. You guys are awesome. Lynn and Buzz, we help people get out of their own way so they can have a life filled with authority, purpose, and joy. Awesome. You guys are totally rocking it. So let's go next. Tell us, what is your system or blueprint? So even if you haven't really thought of this before, go ahead and let's do it now. Tell us, go share in the questions box. Tell us, what is your system or your blueprint? All right. So once people figure out, Ted, their system or their blueprint, so you mentioned that that's going to really significantly increase the perceived value of what it is that you're offering, and how to engage them in conversation so they want to know more.
Yes.
And then what do they do next?
So what happens is, like, and everything I'm giving you is step one to, like, it's part of a system.
Yep.
So this is actually a system, and you become like the system when you're out there, because like your beingness of who you are will attract people to you. And that's the art, like who you are in the world, and like, your attraction brings people in. But then you need to be systematic about how you're communicating so it's tight. And in a networking event, you're not just going to go through boom, 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 boom. You're going to ebb and flow, and you're going to find out about them. So let's say, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to someone, and they go, yeah, that's so fascinating. Like, I've always had this, like, I used to do this at Tony Robbins events. And it's funny, I get like at least 2 text messages a day, or at least 1 and sometimes 2, from people going, I just saw you in Tony Robbins' documentary, right? I keep getting these text messages. So it's like the best advertising ever. Yeah. And I was part of Tony's Platinum Coaching Group, which was a group of us for about 2 years. And so we traveled around with Tony and went to all this different stuff. And we did all these fun, adventurous trips and stuff. And there were all kinds of people from different backgrounds in there, right? And they were like, financial advisors and mortgage people and real estate people and health practitioners and all this. And so I would always, in a networking conversation, I would ask them this question as we started talking, and they were like, yeah, I'm in real estate. And I go, oh, that's cool. Yeah. And I'd ask them more, like, what do you do in real estate? And they're like, I'm in commercial. And how long have you been doing that? Oh, I've been doing it for a long time. Awesome. Like, is your wife involved in it too, or your husband? Oh yeah. It's like a family thing that we're doing. Cool. How do you like it? I like it, but I'm kind of here because I'm looking for the next thing. And I go, oh, so like, if you had a secret desire of something that you could do that, like, maybe you haven't told anybody, or maybe you and your wife just talk about it, or you and your husband, like, what would that be? And it's so fascinating. When I was at Tony's events, like the first 5 people I ever spoke to when I joined his community, like, everybody had a different version of, I'm here. I don't want to be the next Tony, but like, I've always wanted to kind of get up on stage and like share and speak. Yeah. And then the next person would go, well, the relationship stuff that he's teaching has really impacted me, and my life with my spouse has changed. And so we want to start teaching and coaching on relationship stuff. So I would get into this like secret desire that people have, and they start to share with me, and then all of a sudden it start to open stuff up, and they really get personal about like their relationship, or personal about something. So the moment they would go into the personal thing and start talking, they go like, wow. And they go to me like, well, how did you get started in this? And I go, Well, when I was about 6, really when my parents got divorced, and I kind of made this decision as a kid that I wasn't worthy, and I became this little achiever at 6 years old, and like all of a sudden they get drawn in, right? Because now we're on a level that's beyond like, here's what I do, and take my business card, and like, let's go do business, and you never hear from that person ever again, right? So at a networking event, I'm not interested in the 500 people in the room. I'm interested in 2 or 3.
Sure.
Right? And all of a sudden, then I go into my story, and I give like this 90-second version of my story. And at that point, everything I've said about my statement in step 1, everything I've said about my blueprint in step 2, all of a sudden it comes to life once they hear my story, and they go, oh, that's how you got on the journey to be doing what you're doing and why you're teaching what you're teaching. And the light bulb goes on. And this connection comes in that's totally different and unique to what the connection would have been, because we've gotten below the surface and we've gotten into the secret desire of why we're here on this planet. So that's step 3.
So can you succinctly tell me what step 3 is then?
Yeah, it's telling your story.
Okay, telling your story. Got it. Yep. Telling your story, and so that's sort of what we were doing in the beginning when we started going through the hero's journey. Yep. Correct? Yep. Started that process. Okay, so and I just want to give a shout out. So Dominique said, my system is called the Dynamic Method, which helps entrepreneurs transform their brands to achieve accelerated profits and dynamic presence. Awesome, Dominique. Sean,
beautiful.
That's really
beautiful. Yeah, awesome.
Thanks, Dominique. Sean says, give people knowledge not shared by the world that I learned from a disease that I was diagnosed with. Awesome, very personal, Sean. Frederick says, I help people understand that products will work for them to resolve their heart conditions, and this is done in communication with their doctor. Awesome. Janet, Courageous Living Power Program. Tamara, my system is Divine Cuisine. It's where everything is made with love. I love that. That is awesome.
It's beautiful. It's great. So awesome.
Janet, 7-step formula to get the confidence to empower you on the next phase of your life without spending a lifetime planning it. Nice, Janet. I
love
know.
It.
Yeah, we worked on that with Janet. That's totally awesome. Okay, so then step 3 is telling your story.
Yep.
All right, and then what do they do next?
Yeah, and so step 3 is the Cliff Notes version of your story, like 90 seconds, 60 seconds in a networking event, right? And then step 4 is then all of a sudden somebody's engaged, and what's happened here is you've earned the right now, right? You've earned the trust to then bring in a call to action in step 4, which is to schedule a free strategy session, right?
Got it.
So somebody goes, wow, that's amazing. And you've built this connection up. And clearly you don't build this connection up by your own. Here's what I do, and here's my blueprint, and here's my story, and sign up for a strategy session. You build it up. And maybe like if I'm at a networking, I do this at live events all the time. Like I used to sign up clients all the time at any live event that I would go to. And still to this day, I walk in and like on a bigger level, I attract all these strategic partners, because like I'm very clear and I'm very authentic and real about what I do. And so now when I go to the action step after I've built this relationship over time at these events, because some events are days and maybe you only get the first 2 points out of what you do in the conversation, and later on you circle back around and you talk about your story with that person. And so now it comes time where you've developed a relationship, and then you go, so hey, I know we need to go back in, and I love talking to you on the breaks. And so what I'd love to do is offer you a gift, right? So number 1, who doesn't love gifts, right?
Yeah.
So now they're open and receptive, and they go, oh, really? And I go, yeah, what you've told me about like the secret desire that you have around right? Is like, I really feel inspired that I just want to spend some more time with you. Right? So notice the languaging, right? I want to spend some more time with you, right? And you go, so what I'd like to do with this free gift is I actually call this a Message to Millions session, right? It's a Message to Millions coaching session, and it's totally free. So it's free for you, okay? And what I'd like to do is invite you to this Message to Millions coaching session as a free gift. And by the way, like, this is a free gift. You're not paying anything. And one, if you really enjoy the session, which on the session, I'm going to help you really crystallize your message of what you want to create in the world, right? So if you're in the health business, maybe you go, number one, I'm going to help you kind of like crystallize the vision for your health and like your vitality and what you want back in your life. Number two, I'm going to help you, like, we're going to talk about the challenge of what's stopping you from getting that thing, stopping you from getting your message out, or stopping you from having vitality, or stopping you from having financial freedom, whatever your topic is. And number three, we're going to work on a plan and path to get here. And here's the deal. The plan and path thing, like if you get to the end of the call and you're like, and you don't feel like you had value and you feel like maybe we're not aligned, then totally cool. Like, you know, you go your own way, I go my own way. We're friends, we develop a relationship, and we know each other on a deeper level. But if we get to the end of the call and you're like, hey, this thing rocks, and like I've gone deeper on this call than I have on most calls, I'm going to invite you to continue the journey with me, and we're going to continue the journey together. And I'm going to talk to you about how I can serve you better. How's that sound?
That is awesome. That sounds like a strategy that will work, and I've been frantically taking notes. I'm going to share this with you guys here. So it's going to be a little bit of a long post, but I love how you provided some structure. And so I would call this your 4-step system to, you know, book yourself solid with one-on-one consultations at any live event. And it's really by listening, offering value, and then talking to people in a very simple yet structured way that you know, makes people excited and curious to hear more about your value, and really sets you up to completely make an offer. So they know that this call is about your program. It's not just a call to do nothing. It's a call to specifically hear about your program, and there's no pressure whatsoever. That's an amazing way that you just laid that out. I really love that.
Yeah, and this is the thing, like, you know, a lot of times today you hear about, you know, getting online, and we're super, like, we're growing online by leaps and bounds in our business. We're all over the place right now. And you hear that a lot, like, you got to be online, you got to do this, you got to do that. And at the same time, this is a system where if you just went to a lot of events, a lot of networking events, and you spent the time with the right people and you utilize the system, you'd be signing up clients left and right in your business. And really, like, how many conversations does it take if you go deep to really get somebody to a strategy session and sign somebody up? Most people go, I got to talk to 500 people, or I got to talk to 10.
Right.
Like, you could have 2 or 3 deep conversations and get one person to sign up and work with you.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I just finished the notes here where I'll put them in. I'm just going to paste them in again. So essentially what you're doing when you're talking to people, you've earned their trust. You've said, I want to offer you a free gift, which that's kind of hard to say no to. And you say, since they've already shared their secret desire, so you have to listen to them first. You can't just walk in and say, sign up for my strategy session, but just very simply, you're listening to what their secret desire is. And on your free gift, you're going to help them, number 1, crystallize their message. Number 2, talk about what's stopping you from getting your message out. Number 3, create your path. So you who are listening out there, you can have your own 3 steps very, very simply. So whatever they are, whether it's a path to health, whether it's a path to financial security, a path to relationships, those are 3 very simple steps that you can share with people when you're at a live event with them that will fill your calendar. So, like Ted was saying, you should be able to go to one live event, even a small live event, and come away with, 3, 5, 10, one-on-one appointments, and possibly even a whole lot more, right?
Totally, totally. And this is just like, it's just, and the more quality the networking events you go to, the more, because I truly believe that you should stand in your value and get paid what you're worth. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest challenge with people today, is that they don't stand in their value. And because of it, they suffer, their clients suffer, everybody suffers. Nobody wins from that. Like, giving something away cheap, nobody wins. And you can give away stuff like online that's free, and you can give away, have products that you sell for low dollar amounts, because people win on that because you're giving an online product. And if you're giving your time, and your time is the most valuable thing that you have to make the biggest impact possible in the world, and you're giving that away, and you're like so many practitioners today or service-based business owners who are like chained to their business because they give away their time and they don't get paid and they don't value themselves, and they go, but I just want to help as many people as possible. And I go, don't you realize that by doing this, you've fallen into the trap, and you will help 1/1,000,000th of the people that you could possibly help if you just spend all this time giving away your time and not standing your value. So the more, and it's not that people don't have value, it's just sometimes they spend their time because they don't value themselves. They spend their time around people who are struggling. And yeah, I want to help people who struggle too. That's why I create online programs, right? I don't spend my time with the people who are struggling. I give them resources to elevate them up the level, so eventually they can spend time with me in person. So I still want to help those people, and I still have a massive vision to help humanity, which is why we call it Message to Millions. We want to get out to many people, and we want to help as many people as possible. But if I don't value my time, then I can't be the strategic CEO, visionary influencer in my company that is creating systems and processes, and then also creating the dynamic to get the message out to as many people as possible and help more and more people.
So you have a awesome free gift, your Message to Millions blueprint. Can you tell us a little bit about what people will get? What's the value of downloading the Message to Millions blueprint for free?
So first off, this blueprint is it's a step-by-step process to help you find your life story. So we started going through this on this call right now about, finding your life story, but it's about how do you find the life story and how do you find the message. So there's an in-depth blueprint on it when you go download it. Plus with it comes this ridiculous, like, we're so proud of it, best videos I've ever released in my entire life. And when you go watch the videos, like, you can even play it on mute, right? You go watch the quality of the videos. It's so freaking quality what we've created, and so emotionally inspiring that, like, we have people posting comments during tears going through this video. So one, the blueprint comes step by step, and you can use the blueprint if you just want the blueprint and get fast access. But two, with the blueprint, and when you opt in today, you're going to get access to this whole video series, actually, which is like how to find my story and message, number one, how to create my product, number two, and three, how to go out and start enrolling some clients. So
I love it.
We're super excited, and go grab it wherever the link is that Bret put down.
So let me tell you guys what to do. So right now, to grab this link, so for those of you who have joined us on these before, I'm going to give you a double benefit right here. So first off, I actually want to just pull back. If you've gotten value out of hearing Ted's information today, just go to the questions box and write the word value. If you've gotten value out of what Ted taught you today, just go to the questions box and write the word value. And then step two, so that was step one. Step two, right now you can go to my page. So that's I'm putting the link in there. It's facebook.com/like Bret. So it looks like this. And there's a post that's pinned to the top. And this post, if you click on this post, it's going to get you to the step-by-step blueprint. But I want to sweeten this up a little bit here. And what I'm sweetening up is I'm going to turn this into an ad. And this ad is going to be shown to over 500,000 business owners in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom. And so I'm going to spend a lot of money on this ad. It's going to be shown to over 500,000 people. If you want to get some free exposure, what I want you to do is I want you to write a comment, okay? And so tell us on this, in this comment, tell us a little bit about the value that you learned today. So tell us what value you learned today from Ted. Okay, so it could be specifically, about the this system. He just gave us, 4 steps here in the story. In fact, I'll actually even put those here in the comments. So tell us whatever value you just learned. Make a comment on it here. click the like button. Don't forget to click the like button. And then this last part is super important. Click the share button. All right, it just looks like this. So you click share. It gives you this little drop down here, and you click share. And now, of course, this is self-serving. You know, I'm full disclosure. This is self-serving, but you're going to get something out of it. Okay, so you click here. You click share on your own timeline. Okay, and that's it. That's all you have to do. And what you're going to get out of it is anybody who comments on this and especially clicks the share button, you're going to get the free visibility. You're going to get to ride on our coattails. I run a Facebook ad agency. I spend, anywhere from like well over hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on our Facebook ads. This one's going to get shown to 500,000 people. So if you want to get seen, click the click the like button, write a comment, tell us what specific value you learned, and then don't forget to click the share. For those of you who click the share button, what I'm going to go through, like Janet Grace Nelson, you're going to get seen by 500,000 people. You're amazing. Javik Susovic, you are as well. Beatrice, and everybody else. So when you click the share button, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in comment. And what that does for you is it gets you higher visibility than anybody else, okay? So that's really important that you click the share button, and I will go back in and make that second comment. So go ahead and do that now. So go onto this post right here, Bret, facebook.com/like Bret. Make a comment, click the like button, click the share button, and then you can go ahead and click on the ad, and that's going to take you to the step-by-step blueprint. You click download now, you're going to enter in your email, and that's going to take you to get the blueprint itself. You just click here to actually download it, and then you get into Ted's video series. And, of course, at the end of the video series, you're going to talk about the Message to Millions system. You want to just give us a quick little overview of what people get in the Message to Millions system?
Yeah, first off, super, super comprehensive program. And just give you the brief 7 things is one, we wanted to create something that allows somebody to first get their message out to one person and to start with one high quality, high paying customer, because we believe one creates time and money freedom if you start off in the right place. And if you're a veteran and you already have a business, it's repackaging your stuff so that you have more value and you're getting paid more with the next person that you serve. So we wanted to go from 1 to 10. How do you go from 1 client to 10 clients to hundreds to thousands and even millions? So there's 7 steps in Message to Millions that takes you through step 1, finding your story and your message. Step 2, creating your product and your blueprint that gets you paid in 4 different ways, because the key to an intelligent business is a lifestyle friendly business that gets you paid with multiple streams of income. So that's step 2. Step 3, we go into a never ending client system that shows you how to get a never ending stream of leads and clients offline. Like, how do you grow your offline list so you're always in front of customers and you never have to worry about money? So that's step 3. And then is fast client enrollment. So it's the fast client enrollment formula that teaches you how do you actually go enroll customers, and we give you like our whole system for enrollment. So steps 1 through 4 is all about maximizing your business offline, and then steps 5 through 7 is then, okay, well, how do I get in front of groups? And how do I get my message out to groups? And then, like, how do I get in front of 10 people? And then step 6 is, okay, now that I'm in front of groups, I should probably learn how to like send a message out. Like, we call it online presentation mastery, like create videos and create presentations that get my message out to maybe hundreds of people. And so that's step 6, like, how do you get a message out to hundreds with presentations? And then step 7 is then we talk about like, how do you then get leads? Like, how do you get leads and how do you drive traffic? And that's like our whole system that like takes you through this evolution. And the cool thing is people get access to for a lifetime to it, because we realize that not everybody's going to get through all 7 steps. So some people might go, oh, I'm going to get in front of groups in like 6 months, but I need 1 through 4 right now. That's our system.
Awesome. I love it. So just to recap right now, if you got some value out of this, go to facebook.com/like Bret. make a comment here so we see. We already had 17 people share. We got tons of comments. So Colleen, you're going to get seen by the 500,000 people. Janet Grace Nelson, love you. You're going to get seen. Sharon O'Hare, Cynthia, Michael, Chris, Teresa, you guys are totally amazing. You're going to get seen by all these people and everybody who clicked the share button, especially. I'm going to go back and re-comment so that you get additional visibility here. You can see there's already 121 likes. There's already 6,000 people reached. So I'm going to spend a lot of money on this ad so it gets seen by over 500,000 entrepreneurs, and that'll allow you some quite a lot of extra visibility. So Ted, hey, I just want to say thank you, and any last message, any last inspiration you want to give to everybody else?
Yeah, just your story matters.
Yeah.
And just if you leave anything today, just to know your story matters, and within that story is a beautiful message, and your message really impacts humanity. And so I hope this served you today in whatever way it does, and I hope to see you, watching our videos and leaving comments and telling us how it's changed your life and impacted your life. And I hope to see you someday in our community of Message to Millions.
Thank you so much, Ted. And if you guys want, give Ted a nice thank you there. And be sure to click on that link that I gave you. It's on our Facebook page. Make a comment so you can get some exposure. Don't forget to click the share button, and you can see Ted on the inside. So thank you so much, my friend. And for everybody else, I am going on vacation next week, so you won't see me here. We will have somebody filling in for me next week. I'm taking my family to the Olympics. We're going to be in Rio. It's going to be amazing. Back with you the week after. And so one last time, thanks again, Ted. You're awesome. You rock, and we'll see you soon.
You got it. Thanks, Bret. Thanks for having me on. Thank you to everybody.
My pleasure.
Total pleasure.